Yo, welcome back to KAMMA. I'm Khalil Deal,
Mandio.
and we are KAMMA back again to talk about UFC Vegas 105. Josh Emmett against Lerone Murphy. And we're about to talk about our early predictions for the prelims. And we'll start off with talking about who's in the prelims. But before that, we got to talk about how we did last week. Absolutely amazing last week. I went 11-1. My boy Andy O went 10-2, and he would have been 11-1 if he would have chose Teba Gauthier, but he decided to go for Medina. And
Little little hiccup there. Yeah.
it happens. It happens. But let's try to keep the momentum going. We did well in the betting as well. Made some good money in the betting. It was great. Both of us made profit. Let's keep it going this week. All right. So let's start off with the prelims. We got Luma Lookboonmee against Estela Nunes for the first fight. Then we got Vanessa Demopoulos against Talita Alencar. Victor Henry against Pedro Falcao. Rice McKee against Daniel Frunza. Dion Barbosa against Diana Belbita. Davy Grant against Daniel Santos. And the main event of the prelims is Luis Gurul against Ode Osborne. So with no further ado, we're going to get right into it for the first fight here. Andio, Estela Nunes against Luma Lookboonmee. Who you got in this one, bro?
All right. For this one, I got a slightly different order actually than we have up here, but yeah. So for me here, I got to go with Luma Lookboonmee, man. I think she's a very good striker here. She has a Muay Thai style where she's good with those elbows and those knees, can packs a little punch in close. And I think she's better, a lot better than Estela Nunes here, who is fighting for her job, to say the least. She's on an 0-4 losing streak coming into this one. And I just think Luma Lookboonmee is going to be too much for her. There's going to be too much pressure there. And one of Estela Nunes' weaknesses here is her gas tank. I feel that could be better. So she's going to wind up gassing out. I think she's going to look all right in the first minute or two of the fight. But as soon as she starts gassing, I think Lookboonmee here is going to run away with it. So yeah, give me Lookboonmee by knockout or by decision or knockout.
All right, man. Yeah, I got to be in agreement with you here. I got to go with Luma Lookboonmee, man. Luma Lookboonmee is actually really good. Like she's one of the women fighters that you got to give her props, man. She actually knows how to fight properly. Like she trains with Tiger Muay Thai, and her style is really good. She's got good takedowns. She's got good flips too. She likes to grab your arm and flip you over and get you to the ground. She's got really good, takedowns. And yeah, her boxing is good. Her kicks are very good. Her ground game is good. So she's a very good all-around fighter. And Estela Nunes, man, I don't even know how she's still in the UFC. We've seen other UFC fighters getting kicked out of the UFC for less. And she's out here losing 4 fights in a row. Every single fight in the UFC, she's lost, like you said, and she's still here. Like it makes absolutely no sense how she's still here. She's 32 years old, so she's going to be 3 years older than Lookboonmee. She will have a 3-inch height advantage and a 4.5-inch reach advantage, which absolutely means nothing because Luma, she's fought all of the fighters are taller than her. I mean, she's only 5'1". So like pretty much all of her opponents have been taller, and she's been getting wins and doing a hell of a good job. I like the way Luma Lookboonmee fights. I mean, she's fighting. She beat the likes of Bruna Brazil, who's training with Fighting Nerds. She beat her by unanimous decision. Who's a much bigger girl, a much tougher girl than Estela Nunes. She's also beating girls like Elise Reed, Denise Gomez by unanimous decision. These are girls that I think is way better than Estela Nunes. Even Sam Hughes, who we saw how good she was a couple weeks ago, Sam Hughes, and she beat her by unanimous decision. So damn right, I'm going with Luma Lookboonmee to win this one here. No brainer. She wins by decision. You can't back up an 0-4 UFC fighter who absolutely sucks. I mean, the people that she's losing to, Victoria Dudakova, Yasmin Yerigui, Sam Hughes, Carnelossi. So she's losing to all the like mediocre fighters, except for maybe Sam Hughes, let's say. But the fact that she lost to Sam Hughes and Lubumi can beat Sam Hughes, that's some good MMA math there. I got to go with Luma. All right. So we're
It,
both in agreement here.
it's nice that you put Sam Hughes like a notch above the mediocrity.
I got to now. Sam Hughes has been proving me wrong back in, week after week. She's getting the job done. I got to give her props now, man. I'm on the Sam Hughes bandwagon now. So yeah, for sure, man. All right, so we're in agreement. I got her winning also by decision. Maybe she could finish Estela Nunez, but I'll just stick with the decision for now. There is a possibility of a finish, though. All right, let's move on up to the next fight. We got Vanessa Demopoulos against Talita Alencar. At first, I was thinking about it, and I'm like, oh, yeah, this is going to be a tough fight. I don't know who's going to win. But then I thought about it a lot. I'm like, wait a second. Who the fuck has Talita Alencar really beaten? So I was looking through that, and I'm like, wait a sec here. The only person she's really beaten here is Rayanne Amanda by split decision. And I talked about the fact that last week, Julia Poliastri beat Rayanne Amanda as well by split decision. So nothing big in beating Rayanne Amanda. We're not going to give you a medal for beating Rayanne Amanda. She absolutely is trash. And then she gets a draw against Stephanie Luciano. And that was her UFC debut. And then after that, she lost to Stephanie Luciano first she fought Stephanie Luciano in the Contender Series, where I think it went to a draw in that one. So then they brought her into the UFC to fight Stephanie Luciano in the UFC, and then she lost to Stephanie Luciano. And Stephanie Luciano is not that great. So I got to go with Vanessa Demopoulos, man. I think Vanessa Demopoulos, she's much better fighter. She's been in the UFC for longer. She's fought the better fighters. She's very good she's very good on the ground. She's got good grappling. So Talita Alencar, who likes to grapple and use her submission skills, it's not going to really work that well with Vanessa Demopoulos, who's also very good on the ground. Plus, Vanessa's going to be taller. She's going to have an inch reach advantage. And I think she's just a better overall fighter. She's a better puncher, better striker. So I got to go with Vanessa Demopoulos to get the win. I think she wins by submission or decision in this one. I think she can actually take down Alencar, or if Alencar does get her to the ground, I could see Demopoulos reversing and getting her own submission on Alencar. So I'm going to go submission or decision for Vanessa Demopoulos here.
Nice. I got Demopoulos also. I think she'd prefer to spend this fight on the feet if she could, because she's got way better kicks. She's faster, I think. And I think she's going to have enough to stay away from Alencar when Alencar's going to try and take her down, because I think Alencar does have the better BJJ, I think, down there. And even if they were around the same, I think Demopoulos is that much better on the feet than Alencar, and she has a lot more energy throughout the fight. Not that she's more of a dog, I think, but she also has more of a gas tank, and I think Alencar will tire out during the fight, especially if she's trying to chase down Demopoulos, who will also have more volume than her. So yeah, I'm with you, man. Here I got Demopoulos by a decision.
Nice. In agreement with the first two ladies' fights. Let's move on up to the next fight now. We got Victor Henry against Pedro Falcao.
All right, here I got to stick with Victor. I got to go with Victor Henry here. I think he's just a better rounded guy that's gonna just spread out his offense a lot more and do it with a lot more pressure. I think so. Volume wise, he's gonna win there. He always blends in the takedowns, and I think that's what's gonna get him the win here. Where he has to be worried about here is not only is Falco's half decent striking, like his striking is not bad, but he loves to use his BJJ on the ground, and I'm pretty sure he's going to want to get it down there with Victor Henry and catch a Victor Henry if in another sub. Because if you remember, last week he got, was it last time he fought, he got subbed by, was it Jourdain, I think?
Yeah, Charles Jourdain actually submitted him.
And yeah,
Joke.
he submitted in with that gilly when Victor Henry was going in for a takedown. So maybe Pedro Falcao is going to have that in mind and try the same thing. Uh, but I think Victor Henry's going to like remember that, and I think he's going to stay away from those gillies in that position and just beat him with more pressure, beat him with more volume, and more of a blend of his skills. And I know he's 37 here, but he hasn't really slowed down much to me. I'm sure he was better overall 10 years ago when it came to that, but he still looks like he can still bring it and win some fights in the UFC. So I got to go with Victor Henry here. La Magrosta.
Man, I was really going back and forth with this one because Victor Henry, like you said, he's 37 years old. He's one of the, like, it's pretty old for a bantamweight.
Hmm.
And, like when I looked at his resume here and I was looking back at some of his fights and I was saying to myself, what has he really done that amazingly in the UFC? The best fight, I think the best win for this guy was against Raoni Barcelos back in 2022 when he beat him by unanimous decision. But beating Tony Gravely by split decision and then beating that bum of Rani Yahya, who you cannot give props to beating Rani Yahya. I think I could beat Rani Yahya. And it's like, honestly, like, it's not that impressive, Victor Henry's resume here in the UFC. 24 wins, 7 losses. But if you count like just UFC fights, he's 3-2 in the UFC. Lost to Rafael Assunção and lost to Charles Jourdain by submission. So just thinking about that, I'm like, he's not that amazing to me. He hasn't really impressed me that much. Pedro Falcao, however, this guy is a grappler, but he's got to be taken seriously on the feet. He's got a crisp lead left hook and a good right hand. He lures guys into his striking and then shoots takedowns. Over the course of his career, Falcao's been able to get takedowns in many different ways. He's got excellent single leg takedowns. If he doesn't get it from there, he's shown that he can chain wrestle as well and get the back. He's a major threat on the mat with a legit jiu-jitsu black belt. So this guy is nothing to fuck around with, man. He knows what he's doing on the ground. And if you saw the Contender Series, he could shut lights out with ground and pound. So if he gets you on the ground, gets on top of you, his ground and pound is really good. He can knock you out or get a submission. I really like his skill set. I think that he's a little bit better than Victor Henry, I think, in this one. I think he's going to be a bit better. Yeah, man, I'm going to go for Pedro Falcao. I like what I'm seeing from this guy. And I think he could beat Victor Henry. Like I said, Victor Henry hasn't really impressed me with the fights he's had. Now, Pedro did lose to Victor Hugo by unanimous decision, but he came in on short notice in that fight. And then prior to that, he was subbing guys and knocking out guys in the Dana White's Contender Series and in the lower promotion. So I'm going to go with Pedro Falcao. I think he gets the job done. I'm going to call a knockout or submission. I think he could possibly sub Victor Henry just like Charles Jourdain did against him in that last fight. So I'm going to go Pedro Falcao by KO or submission here, man. All right, so we're in disagreement with the first fight of the prelims. Let's move on up to the next fight here. We got Rice McKee against Daniel Frunza. For this one here, again, this is another one where I was going back and looking at Rice McKee, and I'm like, this guy really hasn't done much either. Like, the guy, he is a finisher, though, with his 10 knockouts and 3 submissions out of his 13 wins. He never won by decision. He lost 4 decisions. So if the fight goes to decision, it seems like he's losing, or he gets knocked out, So I don't know. The last couple of fights he lost to are good opponents. I'm going to say, Chidi and Njokuani, we've seen how good he is, and he lost only a split decision against him and Ange Lusa. So those are 2 good fighters.
He also lost to Khamzat Chimaev.
Oh, yeah, that's true. He did lose to Khamzat Chimaev. He actually got knocked out by him a while back when he first came into the UFC. This is a funny story with this guy. When he first came into the UFC, he lost both his fights, got kicked out, went to Cage Warriors, won a few fights over there, and then came back into the UFC and lost again the two fights in the UFC. So he has 0 wins since he's been in the UFC. Like he's fought 4 UFC fighters, lost them all. So this is why I kind of don't really have any faith in this guy. I'm liking what I'm seeing from Daniel Frunza, however, though. This guy is a knockout artist. He has very, very, very strong power in his hands. Like he's got 8 knockouts out of his 9 wins. He's been knocking people out in the lower level events, in LFA especially, and in the Dana White's Contender Series. Had an awesome fight against Vadim Kutsi, where he fucking knocked him out brutally with the ground and pound there. I like what I'm seeing from Daniel Frunza. I think this guy could beat this Rice McKee, who's never won in the UFC at all. So I'm going to go with Daniel Frunza to win. I think he gets a knockout in this one here, man. How about you?
Yeah, he's 0-4 in the UFC in total, and yeah, this is his second run around, so it's like double do or die for him because I think his back's up against the wall here. But in this case, I'm going to have to go with Rice McKee to finally pull it off here. Because to me, this is a battle of like power versus volume. More elusiveness, keep him away style versus try to get you with that knockout punch. I like Reese McKee's volume here. I also like the fact that he does have a 5 or 6 reach advantage here. And to me, along with his kicks, he's one of those guys that can use his reach advantage pretty well. So I think he has to stick to that to win this fight. And also, I don't think he really gives up in any of his fights. Like even the fights he loses, he always brings it, man. He always fights to the end. He fights for your money. And I think knowing that his back is up against the wall, he's got to settle this guy down a bit that's coming in here for his UFC debut. But yeah, man, the worry is the power because this guy can definitely knock McKee out if he's not careful. So McKee definitely has to be on his game. But he also is a guy that can turn it up a notch in the 3rd round if it gets that far. So I'm looking for a decision win or knockout for Reese McKee.
All right, man. We're in disagreement with 2 fights already so far in the prelims here. So let's see how we keep it going here. Let's move on up to the next one. All right, we got Dion Barbosa against Diana Belbita.
All right. So we have Diana Belbita coming here after being retired prior to her fight against Molly McCann. Apparently that was enough to convince her not to retire, the opportunity to fight Molly McMahon. And of all things to happen in that fight, she got submitted by Molly McMahon, who never submitted anyone, and retired herself last weekend. And here she's up against Barboza, who's a very good BJJ black belt, and her path to victory will be to get Belbita down onto the ground where Belbita doesn't have many skills down there, and I think Barboza will wind up subbing her out here. One thing about Belbita, and I know this because I watched some of a Diana Belbita interview on YouTube a couple days ago, because I do these things. And Belbita is coming up in weight here because lately her body just couldn't handle the cut down. It's not that she didn't want to or she wasn't mentally strong enough, but her body just wasn't letting her. So she's up to a weight she probably belongs at, and she may be stronger in this fight and may be able to keep it on the feet for a little bit. But in the end, I think Barboza is going to end up taking her down and finding that sub. So, yep, that's it. Real deal.
Nice, man. Yeah, I'm not going to take too much time on this one, man. If we just look at this graphic right here, we can already tell who's going to win. Look at the graphic. We got Dion Barbosa with 3 submissions and 4 decisions. Now let's look at Diana Belbita. How does she lose? 5 submission losses, 4 decision losses. I'm going to take Barbosa to win by submission or decision. Thank you very much. Let's move on up to the next fight here.
Also with these retirements, especially at her age, she's only 27 or 28, was it? And retiring, and is your heart really into it? Like, she's had a lot of fights in the UFC already, right? She's
Yeah.
probably making a decent amount of money to just show up at this point. So
Honestly, you know what? I was thinking about that. I'm like, Diana Blamita is here just to show up, man, and they pay her a good amount of money to show up.
for someone with like around at least 10 fights in the UFC, I would say off the top of my head, man, come on, she gets paid like way more than a new girl like they could sign, that's for sure.
You know, she's almost as bad as Estela Nunes here. You know, with the 9 losses, 15 wins. I mean, she's losing to everybody. Molly McCann, Carolina, Gloria De Paula, who, Liana Jojua. Who the hell are these people?
It was hard to come up with her best win. I forget what it was.
Honestly, yeah. Let's move on.
Let's move on.
Dion Barbosa's got this one in the bag. I can see her subbing her or winning a decision. It's not even close. She's just way tougher and way
Uh,
than
yeah, I say sub. I say she finds a sub.
sub her decision. All right, so we're in agreement with this one. Let's keep it going now to this next fight: Davy Grant versus Daniel Santos. Daniel Santos is like a poor man's Charles Oliveira. Like he really, literally tries to be like Charles Oliveira with the glasses and the blonde hair, but he does not fight like Charles Oliveira, folks. This guy is not that great. He looks good, but he doesn't fight that good. He's got 6 knockouts, 2 subs, 4 decisions. He's 12-2, but against a vet like Davy Grant here, I think he's going to have a hard time. Davy Grant can strike hard. He comes at you, moves forward with his forward pressure. He never backs down. He's in there to brawl. He's a dog. He's got 4 knockouts, 9 submissions out of his 16 wins, so he could sub you. He's got good jiu-jitsu and a good ground game. Like I said, his striking is off the charts. He moves really quickly in there, throws with combinations and force. And yeah, Daniel Santos hasn't really done much to impress me since he's been in the UFC. Lost to Julio Arce. He beat John Castaneda by knockout, which was a decent one. And the unanimous decision against Johnny Munoz Jr. Was also not that bad of a look, but he hasn't fought in almost 2 years, Daniel Santos. It's been a year and 9 months since the last time he fought, whereas Davy Grant just fought 3 months ago. I like the fact that Davy Grant's been fighting recently. He's active, and he's fighting. I feel like he's fighting the better fighters, man. In his career, he's a vet, losing to only the top-notch guys like Adrian Yanez, Daniel Marcos, you know, and he's beating guys like Luis Smolka by knockout, subbing Rafael Ansansao.
I think he should. I think he should have even won against Yanez there. Actually,
Yeah, that was a split decision that could have went his way as well. And so, you know, I really like Davy Grant in this one. I think he's going to be able to beat this guy. I like that he's way more he's way more well-rounded and he knows much more. He's fought the better fighters in the UFC, more experience. Even though he's 39 years old, we saw how good he still is against Ramon Tavares. So he's not coming down at all. I haven't seen him starting to be on the on the downhill. He's still fighting at a high level. So I like Davy Grant to win. I like Davy Grant to win by KO or submission. I think he finishes Daniel Santos with his wild fighting style. But I mean, this fight could go to decision as well. But I think he could get the finish here, Davy Grant here.
yeah, I'm gonna go with Davy Grant also, man. I love the way he looked in his last fight, and the way he puts his combinations together with those kicks has very nice kicks, and he throws with power, man. He throws to get the knockout. Here he's fighting a guy that is he's less technical. What he does is, like, he's unorthodox in his shots, right? And he waits around sometimes in order to get those interesting looking flashing shots. But I see him Daniel Grant getting in his face, walking him down, peppering him with shots. Daniel Santos also has good grappling, so he may get that going also when he doesn't like the pressure. But Davy Grant also, like you mentioned, he has a ground game also, and he has sneaky subs. So Daniel Santos isn't safe there either. So I'm gonna have to go with dangerous Danny Grant here also to get. Hard to say how. For now, we're just gonna go with him as a pick, and he could be the dog of the week.
Yeah, man, I definitely like him at dog odds here also, man, for sure. All right, let's get to the next fight now. This is going to be the main event of the prelims, guys. If you haven't already, please smash the like button. Subscribe if you're new. You saw our record last week. We've been killing it. Come on board, like the video, subscribe. Let's get it. All right, so the main event of the prelims, we got Odi Osbourne against Luis Guruli here. Now, for this one here, man, Odi Osbourne is a guy that has really frustrated me. I don't know why he's still in the UFC. He's just there to make us predictors go crazy. It's like, why are you here, man? He's lost 3 fights in a row, 4 out of his last 5. When you try to trust him and you think he's going to win, he fucks up and loses. Like, it doesn't make any sense. The last fight against Ronaldo Rodriguez, he lost that fight by unanimous decision when he was beating him at the beginning of that fight. He rocked him, he knocked him down on the ground, but he didn't finish him off, and he ended up losing in that fight. And Ronaldo Rodriguez, we saw him last week, how shitty he looked. He was our only loss. We would have had I would have been 12-0 if Ronaldo Rodriguez didn't lose last week. So I don't trust Odi Osbourne at all, losing to that bum. And also losing to other guys too, like Jafel Filio, Asuel Mabayev, Tyson Nam. Like, come on, like the only guy, his only very amazing win was against Charles Johnson. It was a split decision in that one. And that was 2 years ago. But I got to go with Luis Gurul here, man. This guy is looking really good. He's got some good knockout power. He was in the Dana White's Contender Series. He won a unanimous decision against Nick Piccini. He did pretty good in that fight.
Yeah.
In the previous fights, he's been winning in the Fury promotion, where he's been dominating there. I like the way he looks at when he fights here. He's got very good boxing skills. He's got power in his hands. He also can grapple too. He's a very versatile guy. And I just like his gas tank. He goes the full rounds. He's got a very good gas tank. And Odi Osbourne tends to slow down in the later rounds. So, I just don't have any faith in Odi Osbourne anymore. Would I put a sprinkle on him as a dog play? Maybe. We'll see. Depending on the value there. We'll talk about that betting on Friday. But I'm going to go with Luis Gurul here. I just don't trust Odi Osbourne anymore, man. I can't put my bet on this guy, man.
Yeah, I lost my trust in Odi here a while ago. And yeah, that fight against, was it Pedicini?
Nick Piccini, yeah.
Yeah, that was a good fight, good, tough fight. And he took that fight on short notice on top of that. So this is what I like to see getting into a fight with Odi Osbourne, becauseOdi's good at the beginning of fights especially. And I think it's like win quickly for Odi. And if he doesn't, he's going to end up losing the fight.
Yeah, he's like a first rounder bust.
First rounder bust, that's what I was looking for. So given that Luis Guruli fought through that adversity and fought the whole fight, a tough fight on short notice, he's definitely going to be ready here to fight Odi Osbourne. And on top of that short notice fight, I think he had another fight like a couple weeks before that. So this guy Grimm is going to be ready to go. Yeah, again, it's a blend of not trusting Odi Osbourne again, put it together for the whole fight. And Guruli here, who seems to have a decent gas tank. He has nice combos, and he's pretty good defensively also. So, yeah, all signs for me are pointing to Guruli, who also can grapple. And I predict a finish in like the second or third round, or a decision for Guruli.
Yeah, I got Guruli
for a later finish. And yeah, if I'm looking for something with Odi Osbourne, I would consider maybe round 1 for Odi Osbourne.
There you go. That's a very good prop there, round 1 for Odi Osbourne. But yeah, I got Guruli winning by KO or decision. And there you have it, folks, our early predictions for the prelims. Me and Andy O only disagreeing on 2 of the fights in the prelims here. So let's see how we do in the main card coming up next. Peace out, folks. KAMMA. Let's get it.